like with the cars?
Hi. Good.
Sure.
Can we grab you?
Sure. Oh,
Terrific.
yeah.
8 years.
I watch. Don't worry. Yeah, I watch it.
Oh, thank you.
Yes, I do. Oh, no.
You should say that on the air.
I will.
Hi, I'm Marty Levinson. Welcome to the Northtown News Magazine. Your host, Avi Meyer, and the greatest cameraman of all, Sonny Hersh.
Thank you, Marty. Hi, everybody. Welcome to the Northtown Neighborhood News Magazine, a presentation of Sonny Hersh and myself. Dial us up on the World Wide Web at www, you don't have to type W's anymore, ntnm.org, where you can view, at this point, over 90 different shows. And in the few months they've been on, we already, at this point, probably have our 10,000th show watched on the web, which is really, really cool, and more all the time. Community policing, very important. Go to caps24.org. Sonny Hersh, my entire technical crew, is the chairman of the 24th District Police Advisory Committee, as well as the beat rep for Beat 2413. In my spare time, I do Beat 2412. And we urge all of you to get involved in community policing and help make your neighborhood a better place to live. We're going to go together with, this summer we've been doing quite a bit of stuff in Evanston. As you know, our show's been on Evanston, especially if you're watching in Evanston right now, I hope, for a number of years. And it is my pleasure to introduce a brand new guest to the show, the alderman of, I don't even know the ward number.
The 8th.
The 8th ward.
The great 8th ward.
The great 8th ward of Evanston, which is the ward that borders right next to Chicago on Howard Street.
It borders the 49th and the 50th ward.
And that is Ann Rainey, and thank you so much for being here today.
I'm very happy to be here. Thanks for having me.
Thank you. And why don't you tell us the border just so for the how-tos and let people know about it?
All right. For the most part, I describe the ward as being all of Howard Street, from just on the other side of the canal, all the way to the CTA tracks on Howard Street, and then north, mostly to Oakton. There's some pieces of Oakton cut out of my ward, but
well, there's always got to be a little bit of snipping to make the numbers
work. It had to do with it had to do with the Anyway, so that's
you're basically the south part of Evanston.
Yes, all of the south part of Evanston.
And how long have you been alderman?
I ran for the first time in 1983.
Wow.
I had a slight vacation imposed on me for 4 years when I ran for mayor and did not succeed, but then I was reelected in 97. So 20 years minus 4.
So that's pretty good.
Yeah. Well, no, actually 20 years, because from
24 minus 4.
Yeah, 20 years.
But you've been now this is about 11 years in a row.
Since 97.
And your election, I guess your next, when is the old Evanston?
I don't think till 2009.
Oh, so you got a break.
Yeah.
That sounds good. Well, first of all, I want to thank my friend Bob Seidenberg, who's the city editor of the Evanston Review, for his help in helping brief me, and he's always been a big help to the show, and I wish you'd come on sometime, Bob. That would be really nice.
Yeah, I'd like that too.
Yeah, he's been on before, just not for a while. And big story today with the Sun-Times News Group, but well, you know what? The show appears later. Now, how do things work? How many residents are in your area?
About 5,000.
About 5,000.
Yeah. See, the city of Evanston is just a bit larger than one of your wards, the City of Chicago wards.
So there's approximately 54,000 people or so.
No,
I don't know exactly.
There's 74,000, but there's 9 wards, so it breaks down.
Oh no, I was talking Chicago numbers per ward, but
right. We're a little bigger than one of your wards.
Okay.
So and we're 8 square miles.
8 square miles, and actually it's very nice. I actually have had my business has been in 2 different locations at Evanston. Actually,
really.
I was originally it's Jewish Chicago, the magazine I showed you.
Mm-hmm.
We started out at 1335 Dodge.
Okay.
Which is a little north of Dumpster.
I know exactly where it is, yeah.
And from there we moved to 1234 Sherman, which was an artsy building. It was owned by this guitar company that also owned strange guy. I still want my last month's security deposit back, but I don't think that's coming. And that was a very artsy building that had a kiln and a pottery guild in there, and there were people making paper.
Right.
And it was very nice. And we were right next to the Blind Faith Cafe before it went kitty corner.
Right.
And it was. I liked it over there. And
great place.
And it was $3 tickets for the parking meter, which wasn't that bad. And
things have changed.
I know.
You've been there. It's been a long time since you lived there.
I know that.
Or since you.
So you have to deal a lot with Chicago. I mean, in terms of what you do. But what are the? Well, first of all, I should ask you: what is there a big issue in your area in particular right now, or is it
the big issue in? Well, my ward is so diverse that one of the things I tell people is I rarely have a ward meeting because the issues over here just have nothing to do with the issues over here or up there or down here. So it depends on what part of my ward you're talking about. But the big issue in the most active parts of my ward, of course, is, crime.
that makes sense?
Yeah.
Oh, especially if you go all the way east.
We have the issue, of course, is Howard Street, and the closer to the border you are, the more issues you have.
Yeah, well, Howard Street at one time was famous for having the highest density of bars of any area in Chicago, and that's because Evanston was dry at one time.
Right. And a lot of the bars that were closed are starting to pop open.
Interesting. And then, of course, the Juneway area, which is one of the seediest areas. That's definitely, I shouldn't, we'll have police on in a different segment, but they'll tell me what's the seediest stuff around here. But that's definitely not exactly a neighborhood I'd like to go. You have they're safer places to go.
Well, I don't know if you'd be interested in knowing this, but a fact is that I was the housing director for Howard Area Community Center.
Really?
For a few years, and then the property manager for People's Housing. So I have a lot of connections over in the Juneway, Jonquil, Hermitage area.
Yeah. We used to. I remember one time I actually had to go around the block to pick somebody up, and I went near the cemetery. I drove a blue car with black wall tires that I guess people thought was an undercover police car, and there were people scattering and running. I guess they thought I was trying to make
Scary guy. I don't think they scatter and run for the police over there, though.
Well, I'm talking many years ago. I'm showing my age here.
Yeah.
But crime. So, do you in Evanston, is there community policing similar to Chicago?
We have problem-solving team, which is very similar to that. One of the other big issues in my ward, and it affects everybody, is the redevelopment of Howard Street. I think the Chicago, and I'm talking from Ridge East, because the rest of Howard Street is developed.
And very nicely.
Very, very nicely. But we're really trying hard. I think the Chicago side is way ahead of us on that in terms of the stores and things. But our side, no matter what happens north of that street, Howard Street stays the same. The businesses provide absolutely no services to the people who live on the other side of the alley to the north of them. And, the storefront churches, the nail salons, the empty stores. There are a few long-time, totally devoted businesses. There's a veterinarian and an auto supply store and Sherwin-Williams Paint. But, for the most part, it's just awful. We have a pioneer over there who started a store called Apple II, which is a boutique that is so high-end, you could transplant it to Michigan Avenue, and it would be a very acceptable use there. So people are trying. There's a new little coffee shop that's opened, but for the most part, we can't seem to move it. We've established a TIF on Howard Street.
Keep going.
And we've established a TIF on Howard Street, and the building in the 400 block of Howard Street is now 9 floors. So
I noticed that.
The building is just going fabulously well. I was on the 4th floor about 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, and it's just gone flying up into the sky.
So, that's going to help the area, you figure?
Well, it's going to help the people who want to live there. It was a vacant lot before. It's
been
a vacant lot for 100 years.
Yeah. Wow.
So it's going to be 221 units, 17 stories high, 4 floors of indoor parking, balconies in every unit, and it's all rental.
That sounds... all rental?
All rental. All rental. Market rate rental. It's going to be fabulous.
Is that a good thing?
It's excellent. It's excellent. There hasn't been a lot of rental built in Cook County in the last decade.
Yeah, everything new around here is all condos.
Yes. So we're just thrilled with that. Yes, and it's going to be very high-end, washers and dryers in every unit.
Wow.
Balconies. You will never have a building built in front of you, because what is in front of this building? The CTA rail yard.
Yeah.
That's not going anyplace. And then you have the cemetery.
Yeah, that's
So
a big concern, actually, because people who think they're getting the latest, greatest on the lake all of a sudden get another big building put in front of them.
You can't get promised a view, no. But in this case, you're going to be promised a view. I don't think the cemetery is going anyplace. I don't think the rail yard's going anyplace. A concern of mine is, how soon are we going to see the new L station at Howard Street? I mean, that's been planned for, I would say, 10 years, 8 years?
You know what? It's funny because I do remember hearing about it, but it's been so long I just forgot all about it.
No, it's still in the plans, and they are working on it.
And I walk and take public transportation most places, so I actually use it. I just deal with it.
No, it's. I think it's the worst station on the entire line.
It's pretty horrid.
It's horrid. And you know what? I graduated from high school many years ago and went to Navy Pier.
Okay.
And I took that train every day, and that L station was as bad then as it is now.
When it was Circle?
No, when it was the University of Illinois at Chicago.
Right, that was before Circle, right?
That's before the Circle, yes.
Right, I have a cousin who's a doctor who's actually he went there also.
Yeah.
So, and by the way, I went to Columbia College when it was across the street at on Lakeshore Drive over there.
Yeah.
But that's a little later.
But I mean, that long ago, that station needed knocking down and replacing.
Howard, and it's the same station as then.
It's the same horrible station, yeah. So anyway, there's Howard Street, it's ready for reform, it's ready for renovation. And I think slowly but surely it will be, but it's just very frustrating, very frustrating.
I hear, and that's something you don't have control over, obviously, because that's the Chicago side of the equation.
No, I'm talking about my side of Howard Street.
Oh, your side of
my side of Howard. I think the Chicago side of Howard Street from Ridge east is in much better shape than the Evanston side.
Wow.
And that's, something I've been working on. It. So when people say about an alderman, oh, he's not doing this, he's not doing that, just look at the, I'm telling you, it doesn't always mean they haven't been working on it,
No, you don't get to do everything. I know
It's very hard. You can't make somebody buy something and put something in it, I mean. But I'll tell you, one of the big successes, speaking of Alderman Stone,
sure,
is the shopping center on Howard Street. It is the #1 sales tax generator in the city of Evanston.
Talking about where Target and Jewel and...
the #1 sales tax generator. It has been more successful than anybody ever dreamed in terms of sales.
Well, it's certainly busy, and I certainly shop there myself.
Me too.
One of the things that, I do want to ask you this, because I sort of, Alderman Stone happens to like you.
I like him. I like him a lot.
And there are so many people
I just never see him except on TV.
Well, actually, he was here at 2 today, and
you
you're here at 4.
You should have invited me over.
He had a meeting at 3 o'clock, and that's over something. They finally have a special service area on Devon Avenue to clean it up, so he's worried about that. But in terms of, that's a great shopping center, and it's well maintained, it's taken care of, the whole shop. So that whole controversy and the Howard Wall and all that, because actually, to be honest, it was the North Boundary homeowners' idea actually originally to put up the wall. I was all behind it because there was no outlet to Evanston at that time. I mean, I don't think there is much of an outlet to Evanston. You've got that pretty well protected.
Yeah, we built our own wall.
Yeah, so basically, right. You built your own wall, but it wasn't in the middle of the street.
That's correct.
And I think you were better with the press. The press seemed to like your side better than his side at that time. But,
well, it was kind of a radical idea, but it was interesting. It was interesting.
It was interesting. It was all kinds of... He has to turn something one way, the other way for a while, and cars started turning and realized, oops, can't do this. But, the fact of the matter is, though, at least those residential streets that are on the Chicago side aren't deluged with traffic either. It's mostly down Howard.
Yeah. One thing I would like to work with Alderman Stone on,
sure.
maybe we could work on this together, is I frequently see people, I don't know if they live in his ward or not, but they're certainly on this side of the street, standing with even TV sets, and shopping bags, and mothers with little kids. I have been unsuccessful in getting the PACE or CTA or anybody to drive into that shopping center. I've talked to the people at Target and to Jewel, and they all say it's fine with them.
Well, as a matter of fact, this much I'll tell you, because I actually, you know what, I've lost 40 pounds since I started walking, and I do take CTA and stuff. And by the way, I take the 93 bus into Evanston, and matter of fact, Rabbi Klein, another friend of mine, when I go to his banquet, you know, I can easily access it through public transportation. But the fact of the matter is that he's been frustrated greatly, and as a matter of fact, Springfield isn't answered as we're taping this, but he is very frustrated with the public. He thinks that his biggest failure has been public transportation around here, because everything is so part-time. The local Lunt bus here, the Dodge bus on California, doesn't run on Sundays. I know if I want to,
then it's in danger of being cut.
That's correct. As a matter of fact, the next time I film, I've invited Ron Huberman, and I'm hoping he'll be here. And actually, this will be interesting, because he now that he just takes the CTA, I'm going to invite him here at night and see how he gets here. And he's a good guy, actually. I happen to like him. I have a lot of respect for him. But in the meantime, you know, Mickey's hands are telling me that we're getting close to over the limit. So, you know, I'll let you bring up one more subject if you like.
Well, I want to continue on the last subject.
Let's go.
And that is working with Alderman Stone to get public transportation to enter the shopping center, so these people don't have to cross all across Howard Street with their packages. I mean, it's just wrong. And you can drive down Howard Street in front of that shopping center on either side any time of the day, and you will see people waiting for the bus with all of their packages.
Well, I know he's very game for these kind of things.
They do it at Old Orchard. You know.
Right. And as a matter of fact, also they go into the Lincolnwood Town Center.
Yes, they do, absolutely.
And the way the 93 bucks with Evanston has also been great. But I know that Frank Cruzy, when he was head of the CTA, was not exactly the most friendly person to the needs of people. And Ron Huberman's taking more of a business standpoint. I hope this works. That'd be great.
Yeah.
Because now actually, like I said, I walk there. It's 13 and a half blocks, but you know, I just as soon walk. And it's more fun walking back if I have got a lot of.
But you know, I'm not talking about you. I'm talking about
general people.
elderly people with packages and moms with little kids and packages.
No, I think it's important. And by the way, I'm with you on that.
Yeah.
So you know what? We'll talk with Alderman Stone about it next time I have him here also.
Great. Maybe you'll invite me and we can talk together.
You know what? If he's game, I'm game. We could do that.
Nice to talk to you.
Anyway, thank you so much, Alderman Ann Rainey of Evanston. If people would like to, first of all, check her website out. It is the most commendable website I've ever seen of any public servant, where she actually personally fields. Seriously, people ask all these. We didn't get to have, you know. We'll have you on again. But people get to write you directly on a message board, and you answer them instead of somebody else. I mean, people really have direct contact with you. I think it's great. So give your phone number, give the website.
My phone number?
Yeah. No, office number. Is there an office? If people want to,
if people want to, contact me. They can hunt me down anyway. 847-475-2949. And you can be referred to the message board by going to AnnRainey.com.
AnnRainey.com. Sounds
pretty
good.
Simple.
And thank you so much, and I wish you good luck.
Thank you. Thank you.